we're all tied up here at the HGC Europe 1-1 as we get ready for game number 3. It would appear that the run it down mid strategy is going a little bit too far here with the role swaps not working out in game number 2.
Yeah, so a bit of an unintentional role swap that we just saw there, all of a sudden having the tank on the melee assassin and vice versa. Didn't quite work out for them, but now, of course, they have an opportunity to swap properly in game number 3 and then maybe take it from there. Would have been pretty interesting to see what would have happened. Can you imagine them winning that?
Yeah, that would have been unfortunate.
If that all of a sudden Method is just like, I mean, Alex would have been immediately like, yeah, we don't even need our main heroes like for you guys. Like, whatever we do, we're going to take you down. So from Method perspective, that was a victory that was likely to happen, especially towards the later stages then of big team fights. But let's see how Trick is going to react as we're going to head into a game in number 3. Now, that was, of course, also the map choice in game number 2 for Trick. That makes it a bit unfortunate for them here. But yeah, let's see how that's going to work out. They have now the choice if they want to have, again, the map pick or first pick.
And you got to feel bad for roaming Zul, man. 0-2 for Trick Esports so far, man. That was it.
Not his
fault. That was a moment to
time.
get the wins in. Not his fault, though, that's for sure here. Let's go to game number 3 and see if maybe you roaming Zul can come out now as we head into BOE. Not a roaming Zul battleground, as Method will pick the battleground. Trick Esports will have first pick instead.
All right, so Method on BOE with a 4-3 track record, and Tricked is sitting on 2-6. Not really great battleground for them in the past.
It's weird, because like when they first came out, at the very, very beginning, week 1, week 2, week 3, I really liked how they played BOE. They would grab an Immortal, win the Immortal race, and then they would always 5-man the opposing lane, forcing their opponent to either have a mismatch in terms of numbers, or at least get some experience out of it. And it was a really cool approach to what BOE brought, but since then they have really kind of fallen off the battleground, especially by Caldor, a 2-6. Not looking so hot anymore.
Yeah, I still want, I mean, from a teamfight perspective, they have a lot of cool tools here. I would really like to see Phoenix again. I thought that was super fun when they played that earlier. Yeah, it was pretty nice, but then again, you get so much out of Hanzo. That is, of course, the big question. Are you really going to commit to that? Either way, team fights are going to reign supreme here, so I expect them to draft around that and try and pick an aggressive comp. As also another map where we could see some Muro shenanigans. Don't necessarily expect it, but we've seen it here.
It's something you have to talk about, right? Like, Thero has witnessed and mentioned that he's willing to move into Samuro if need be, thanks to being inspired by Monkey, one of our streamers here in Heroes of the Storm. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that Samuro, of course, so we'll Trick Esport. And it's just a matter of who gets that DPS for the Immortals. Again, Grey May Grey on this battleground, picked up a little bit. Occasionally, we even had a Volva mixed in for Fnatic if you go for the double support. There's a lot of strategies available based on how you want to open up your draft.
Exactly, and with the draft opening, another thing to consider is also frontliners that we haven't really seen in the series yet. For example, Garrosh can play another
where are they?
Here. Yeah, so it's not only that. I mean, even on the off-lane, we have seen Blaze being banned now. We had one game played with him. But Garrosh and Diablo, the two tanks that have dominated Europe for so long, haven't played a role in this setup yet.
Yeah, we had it mentioned last week, actually, that it feels like Diablo and Garrosh 3 weeks ago, not everyone knew how to handle them, right? They were getting caught out of position, suddenly you have someone get picked up, you're in a 5v4, things are falling apart. But now we have strategies that are starting to be drafted just to make sure to shut them down. I think one case in particular that we got to see was in the last series between Dignitas, when we saw Mopsio on Diablo, constantly getting knocked down. Stitches hook into a Malfurion route. Even if you're not getting the kill on him, knocking him down to 200 health makes it impossible for Diablo to go for the engage. So that's really the strategy.
Breeze was talking a lot about that too.
It was Breeze, yes.
Yeah, exactly. He feels that right now, if you are on one of those tanks, oftentimes the opponent is trying to punish you, and that everybody just got used how to properly play against the heroes as well. We've seen strategies against Garrosh that focused on Tassadar or like heavy burst heal to just save the target and then take the fight from there. We've seen Karazim being played by Fnatic as they're going up against hit point heavy front lines, getting a quick isolation going on the tank, blowing him up, and then taking the fight from there with a numeric advantage. So there's a couple of strategies that you can still employ against that. But heading into a battlefield now, still a few heroes that we have to keep in mind outside of the tanks, especially when we're talking about Tracer and Genji again. So, of course, our tanks are still oftentimes a focus in the draft, but especially for Method, Tracer has been a staple, and that could be banned out again. We already saw the Tracer ban in Game 1 and Game 2.
Tracer and Hanzo, the two you think about. Medivh as well on this battleground, suddenly popping up a little bit more.
I mean, Trick is going to try and get Hanzo, I would say.
Yeah, if they banned anything, it'd be the Tracer, I think, here.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what Method answers back with. We've had both teams willing to dabble in Medivh. Tricked more so was surprising, but they actually played it really well. So something to consider here as we go through these drafts. Trick actually thinking about a Li Ming ban.
Now, if you ban Li Ming, that would scream an Uberak to me. Once again, because again, Disintegrate is fantastic against Cocoon, so that's oftentimes a response. So a Li Ming ban would very heavily suggest that they are going to try and play around an Uberak once more, and that would be the 2-3 pick probably for them. But also, focusing on Greymane here. And it's Tracer, as kind of expected. It is a good map battleground for Tracer. Method plays it. So yeah, Tracer gets banned out. Just clicking around there a bit, and now the question, Hanzo, ban or no ban?
Yeah, that's directly the question on BOE.
Yeah.
For you guys at home, if you are the second banner on this battleground, you need to ask your team, in voice chat, if you're all in there, please use it. Hey, do we want to give up Hanzo? Are we going to be able to dive him? Can we draft a dive competition? If the answer is no, just ban that puppy out there, because he will be annoying, even with his latest nerfs from 150% to 100%. Scatter Arrow just puts too much pressure on your team if they ever get a lead, so something to consider.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So communication, no matter if it's professional play or if it's just simply Hero League, is always absolute key, and that starts with draft. So trying to make sure that you know what your first pick wants to take, so that you have a bit of an idea what to ban out and what to let go through is always important. And of course, first or second pick position plays a huge role with that too.
Now watch both teams not pick Hanzo just to spite us. Watch it.
That's never going to happen on this map. But Anubarak gets banned out here, and this is actually really interesting because Tricked was at least thinking a little bit about a Li Ming ban here, just highlighting it for a second, clicking around. We've been talking about Anubarak right away, and Anubarak finds himself actually in a first ban position here again, which is super interesting to consider. So a Li Ming ban would have highly suggested that they want to play with Anubarak, and I think Tricked still would have loved to do that. But now we're having first pick, and then we're coming back to the question, what do you take here? Do you straight head into Hanzo, or are we going to have a different setup? Also, let's not forget, we have seen Method now twice with Maiev.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that you have to be cautious about. But we are actually seeing Medivh targeted first. And now there's Diablo setups that you can use again. You can play that with Garrosh. So we could theoretically even see Phoenix again, so they have a little bit of layered protection. But they let Hanzo go over to Method. And that's, of course, the trade-off of this pick.
Hanzo Mouth. And now Rimmer, who has showed Diablo a lot, has him open and available. He has the protection from Medivh. Will that be an instant lock-in from him? We'll see here.
I mean, this is already super interesting to me because you have to just think about how impactful Hanzo is on this map. He can rush down the Immortal by himself, and he has been banned on this map. He's first pick potential. He's absolutely fantastic in team fights as is, but on this map against the Immortal, he's even stronger. And Tricked is willing to give that up. They have first pick position and are saying, like, no matter how strong Hanzo is. And again, this is a team that picks...
That runs Hanzo.
Yeah, that runs Hanzo all the time. 57% of their games, they play Hanzo. Not involvement rate, just play, which is a crazy high rate. And they were willing to give Hanzo up just so that they have Medivh, because they said, with Medivh, we're going to have such an impactful draft around him that it's worth giving up Hanzo. And now they are bringing in Diablo. We've seen earlier already that they were willing to let Hanzo slide through once, granted on a map where he has less of an impact, to prioritize Phoenix. They do that again. So this is the opening that they wanted. This is where they said, this setup is worth giving up Hanzo. Now they have to prove that they can pull it off.
The Phoenix coming out for them too, pretty decent on immortal damage himself, but even better for following up on the Diablo stun and bringing out the slows that we've seen earlier. Will we have that auto attack build once again from Crosby? We'll have to see, as we'll be heading into our ban phase here. Method needs to be thinking about possible top lanes here. Do you want to get rid of Thrall? Is Sonya a possibility?
This is actually now the thing that I'm asking myself, because for a very simple reason. Every single time we have seen Phoenix so far, what was heavily targeted were setups where slows could be applied to the opponent's team, just so that Phoenix can get more damage out and can benefit on his level 4 or his level 7 talent, depending on how you target him, how you build him. So Maiev gets banned out first of all against Method, but I really want to see if we see Thrall again.
For Method, right? Take it
no, for Tricked. If I'm Method, I want to take him now too.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm Method, I want to take Thrall because I don't want Tricked to have Thrall. First of all, because Thrall has already shown great play. Now you have also a Leyline Seal, potentially, into Apocalypse, with then also Earthquake layered on top of that. So that's already dangerous. But you have the slows from Thrall that help Phoenix out. So does Trick just try and draft slows for themselves at this point?
Yeah.
And that's what we've seen so far. Every time you have Phoenix, you want to have the synergy. So you need someone to apply that. And that has to be a thought process for Method now as well. Do we pick that away from them? And if we want to do that, then how? Which heroes do we target first?
If Thrall is taken away, going a step further, what has Trick picked up to help out?
I mean, I would have argued that you can still take Leoric, but the problem, of course, is that we don't see Leoric. There it is, Thrall taken, so that was expected. Stitches with that too, so that removes another potential source, and it makes a great setup for Method where they can play around Hook, Root, and the Wolf on Thrall to just like isolate a target. But now, do you play Leoric into this? Leoric actually would be good against Stitches.
Yeah.
You can also really work well again, around an Entomb, since you have Diablo for an Apocalypse. So there's arguments to be made for that. But typically when you have Leoric, you want to have a 3-lane map where you can get the double lane soak. So he hasn't really been the most prominent solo laner for Battlefield of Eternity.
When you think slows, heroes that come to mind, Jaina, D.Va Bunny Hop, could be a possibility here. I'm just trying to work it in,
yeah.
You know, little possibility. Help out with the damage. Other slows, Stukov.
I mean, with any other team,
healer still.
With any other team, I would laugh at you, but since we have Tricked here, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Stukov could be the possibility here.
If they get D.Va Bunny Hop, I mean, why not? Yes, this is slow. And Stukov. Again, with any other team, I would have laughed at you. But it is Alex, it's D.Va, and he's been showing it already the last time that we saw them on this map, where they, by the way, got hammered into the ground. Just saying. They played D.Va against Dignitas on this map.
What's Dignitas, though? It's not fair. Everyone loses them.
Dignitas.
You and I would lose to them.
Oh, you're sure?
2v5, let's go, Dig.
There's a
3 AIs. Oh, man.
Gonna fight you real life.
So now we have slows here. Even a talent at level 7 if D.Va wants to make an adjustment where anyone that's in defense matrix does provide a slow. So there are all possibilities. You don't have to go Bunny Hop. Tricky Esport now finally brings that synergy.
Of course he's going to go Bunny Hop. It's Alex.
Thank God.
Okay, but
man.
Here's the thing. He can still provide, like, this is actually a really layered tool to make sure that Phoenix is surviving. So that's pretty important. You have D.Va to create some space. And also, I am just waiting for that moment where they get that 4-man, 3-man leyline seal into Apocalypse into D.Va Explosion.
That's why Joker comes in.
Yeah.
They have 2 ways now to be able to handle that bomb. They have a Citrus Hook that will connect with it. You can pull it away. You have to
I'm
be careful.
just waiting for that moment where we have that leyline seal into Apocalypse into D.Va Explosion. Stop ruining my dream.
Okay. I'm excited for it. Method was thinking about it, though.
I'm talking about the dream, and you are coming in, you're ruining the dream.
You know why it's called a dream? Because when we wake up, it never happens. That's why it's called a dream, Caldor.
Are we switching roles here? Is that on me?
I'm just setting myself up for failure. Yeah, exactly. Like, this isn't going to work out because I want it to work out. I so want it to, but I'm like, be a realist. Come on, man. Calm down. You're a professional commentator. Let's go ahead and point out why it's not going to work out. And that way, when it happens, we can just go ham on the cast.
Okay. I'll take that.
We're ready for it, man. So we have Junkrat that help out with the bomb. We have Stitches as well with the hooks and keep that kind of on the down low and try and control the space here. But you are correct. The blow-up potential is very possible here for Trick Esports. But possible is definitely the word that we're going to choose.
We also, by the way, in case it happens, we need a name for it. So there's still hashtag HGC. You can still tweet at us at Heroes Esports, include at Color at Trixlanet. But if we have the setup with an Apocalypse or Leyline into the D.Va bomb on the professional level, we still need a proper name for that. So guys, hit us up. Hashtag HGC, let us know what we should call it. I'm going to check it in the meantime, and we're going to find out if Tricked can pull it off as we are heading into game number 3 here on Battlefield of Eternity with Grand Paquette on Stukov Remaballer, this time on Diablo, Makio on Medivh, that's more like it, Crosby on Phoenix, and Alex the Pro G on Bunny Hop D.Va.
Trick taking the first step and putting the correct people on the correct heroes. Good move for them. On the right side in the red, Schwimpy on Hanzo, Curson on Malfurion, a Thorough on Thrall, a Cater to play Stitches, and Nick to play Junkrat.
The cool thing about Trick is really that you see the improvement from one game to another immediately. Whereas on the last game, they had really struggled to put the right heroes onto the right players. Now, they immediately made the adjustment to say, maybe we should put our tank onto the front lane. And I like that. I like that about them.
Inspiring. It really is.
Yeah, it's really inspiring how fast they improve on these things. There's a lot of training that goes into this as well. That's what the scrims are for.
Phoenix sitting in the top lane here will be against Thrall. Nice little poke, safe for him as Alex is working on building his bomb, being pretty aggressive. One of the main issues though when you are playing a D.Va is that your health bar is pretty darn low. So you gotta be careful when it comes to that poke and make sure that you're not getting cut out of position, especially against a Malfurion. One of the issues of playing into a Malfurion is that when he roots you, and if you get killed while you're in the middle of that root on your mech, D.Va pops out and gets re-rooted as little D.Va. And can get killed off pretty quickly, so you gotta be careful.
That's little D.Va.
Little D.Va, little baby D.Va.
All right, I want to see Fire here in some action. Interesting also that Phoenix is now finding himself up at the top lane. Alex all red. Oh, gets hooked again, and that's the route that we've been talking about. But this time Marke has Alex back. But that was actually pretty sweet. First the drop in HP, then the hook coming out and being absolutely on point, and then the immediate save by Medivh as Curson is following the hook up. So that was pretty cool play from both sides.
Crosby's showing how annoying it can be to play against a Phoenix, him playing around his shield, able to poke you out, and of course win out in the trade because you're actually taking damage to your full health while he regens his shields, and has a really nice range too thanks to that AoE ability. He has wave clear too, so if you ever have a Phoenix on your team, you can definitely put him in the top lane. You just gotta be careful if Phoenix come your way. Alex gets thrown straight in the middle of a fight there. Thanks to Junkrat. Another hook into a root.
This is becoming a theme. Second time already that Alex loses the mech here in that situation, so now he has to work on that again. And yeah, Method is doing actually well. I really like the way that we are having Arcana currently positioning himself for these hooks. He's landing them well. I like it.
So far, keeping him with the hooks, another one comes out, doesn't fully connect. But the idea continues to be the theme for Method as they jump up in experience. Moving already towards the top lane, maybe want to put some pressure on Phoenix.
Crosby with heavy pressure there. I really like that a lot. And in this case, he was a bit afraid that there might be a wolf coming out and a bit of a lockdown, so you need to be cautious. And especially, of course, with that Malfurion rotation, you need to be careful. But Medivh is now coming in, double-checking everything that's happening there, and also making sure that they are in the know that their opponent takes the camp. They, in the meantime, are already claiming their own. We have, in terms of builds, again, the same build that Crosby applied on Phoenix in the last game with the mobile offense as the level 1 talent, and then level 4 target acquired.
Level 4 pickup for D.Va. It's going to be the ability to build out more bombs, bring it on there, helping with the self-destruct charge going up as you take a little bit more damage on that next health. So Tricky Esport will be set up for this Immortal phase, but they have to watch out for this top lane, as you mentioned, coming in. They have done the same for the bottom lane. You can put a little bit of pressure on Nick. Can we get it? Oh, Make attempting to set up for that kill. Unable to finally deliver, but at least he got Nick low on health.
Yeah, good pressure though, and especially with him being low on health, that's the moment when especially Malfurion has to help out, so he needs to make sure that he's ready for these fights. And, yep, again, portal attempt, trying to go for a kill here. Arcana finds himself in an awkward spot. Rema Baller with a nice attack, and Crosby working in the auto attacks, and all of a sudden Stitches is in trouble, and there's the kill. Stitches down, and that's the opportunity now for Trick to dominate the first Immortal.
And I love how Alex used that D.Va bomb. Use it as a zoning tool. A lot of D.Vas make the mistake of trying to go for kills with their bombs, and sure, you can have the setups, you can have the dream that happens, but being able to keep 2 melee targets or 2 assassin targets away from your team so you can clean up the Stitches allows for esports to jump on this Immortal and start burning it down.
Yeah, right now, again, the chance. There comes the mech. Okay, so they need to be careful, of course, around Junkrat. The displacement that you pointed out earlier, super important. But especially at this point, we are waiting still for that level 10 setup. For now, we're still sitting here on level 6, pretty standard builds with also the Slam now coming in. Here again, a slight attempt to go for Arcana here, but the root against Phoenix, and he's warping away in the last moment. Alex is going in and trying to protect Grand Paquette as he was targeted, but the mech already losing hit points fast. And we can never forget about Shrimpy and the Hanzo factor here, already at work at the Immortal on the right side of the map.
Yep, chunking it down, and they are starting to win this race. Tricky Esport may have to go for an all-in play, and they're looking like it. They go straight for their own Immortal set up for defense. Diablo goes in, gets a shield at the last second. Ethereal taking some damage too, as Crosby actually gets hooked in. He's able to warp out thanks to his warp ability, and is doing just fine. But Method is able to disengage. Even with portals chasing them down, they head back towards poking.
Now, one of the best things, of course, with Diablo and Medivh is that you can go so deep, and they're trying it again. Curson is low. Here comes the portal, and that should be the end of Malfurion. He goes down. But still, it looks like Method is going to be able to win the Immortal race. They are so close to it. The kills at this point don't really matter too much. The mech already down, and that's going to be the confirmed objective for Method. Even with Trick picking up the kills here, they are not able to match the wave plan, or simply the Immortal damage that Hanzo in particular can push out.
HGC Sports will have to set up some defense here on the top. There is a Diva Bomb available, but they're going to head down towards the south, actually, as Method is going for a side push instead. Putting 3 down here on the opposite lane of the Immortal, allowing Thrall to be the one that continues to poke forward. So Phoenix will be by his lonesome, trying to clear up. But Trick, as soon as they are able to get their back, should be able to bomb this bottom lane if they need to defend it.
Yeah, Immortal at the top is being burned down. Alex now back in mech form. And we have level 7 abilities. And again, with full focus on the attack damage against slow targets with a combat advantage for Phoenix. We've seen that already before. Now Thrall going down up at the top. I really like the way that we're currently seeing Trick trying to get these kills. Like, from that perspective, they're doing well. It's just the objective and the wave clear where they're suffering slightly. But of course, once the level 20 talent is in, we might see a very different game here. And let's not forget, we still don't have Diablo fully stacked. He's sitting at 67. Medivh has to be a bit more cautious because he's at 26 stacks now, missing another 14. So there's still a lot of scaling potential on the side of Trick Esports with the heroes they play.
And they're hanging in there too with experience, even with the turrets being picked off by Method. Those picks 3-1 so far has balanced out the scales. 8.5 experience to 8.5. Trick even going for an aggressive play and grabbing the Mercs to the south here, hoping to break down some turrets from themselves. With Medivh constantly sharking around, watching out for Arcaner, who's been looking for these hooks, man. Diva has been the prime target for them every single time.
And also a bit of a deviation in the Thrall build. We've been talking about the Ancestral Wrath a bit earlier, where oftentimes we just now don't see it anymore, since if you go into the Echo of Elements, you can go into the follow-through on 7 to get even more damage out of the auto attacks. But at least Thrall on Ethereal's side still relying on Ancestral Wrath. So on that solo lane, that of course also helps him, since he can just like go in and have more self-sustain. But Crosby is heavily pressuring thanks to that range that he has on his hero.
Really annoying hero to play against whenever you're in a typical one-on-one. And you're showing why. Crosby working on that gate, but look at Diva here. Snuck to the side and started to work on this Merc Camp 2. Wants to help Crosby out and get that top lane pushing in there, being a little bit more annoying against Thrall. Meanwhile, Method's taking the time to work on their Night Camp to the right as they want to get that pushing during the Immortal phase.
Yeah, it's just crazy annoying when you're going up against Phoenix in that solo lane, because he has wave clear, he has a single target damage, and that splash alone is already a nuisance. And of course with Warp you always have an escape tool as well, as long as you're not getting CC'd into the ground, and that's where map awareness and communication through the team comes into play. But we are starting to head into the next Immortal phase, and this is about time for level 10 abilities. And now we're talking about our big bad combo on the side of Trick Esports that they theoretically could set up around a Diva explosion.
Medivh engage into a Diablo Shadow Charge, Apocalypse into a Diva Bomb. Let's see if they can pull that off. And then on top of it, level 10 coming in here for Phoenix. Gonna be that Salvo.
Leyline is there, Apocalypse as well. Alex, you don't have to hold back the 10, we already know.
Give it to us. Give us the bunny hops. We love them. They're cute, they're great, and they're killer.
You have a bunny fetish lately.
There's the bunny hop getting picked up, and we're going to have those slows to help out with Phoenix. One the damage. Rimmer goes in, but Schwimpy able to slide against the wall. All
right, so there's the zoning out, at least for now. But again, the one thing that tricked talking combos, talking wombos, and the potential that they have, let's just disregard that for a second. What they have to be careful about is, of course, the ability of Method to burn down this Immortal so quickly through Hanzo. Also, we have Sundering taken by Thrall, so not heading into Earthquake, and with that, you have to be careful on Phoenix side in particular, because once that is Sundering, and then the hit, then, yeah,
combo.
That's a combo, tick, tick, and boom! Down goes Malfurion, and they are following it up with a Junkrat kill, and Thrall is dead as well. Trick goes in just as we're about to talk about the potential blow-up against Phoenix. They are dropping 4. Crosby survives, and that is rough going for Method. So yeah, level 10's a game changer for sure on the side.
And they might get Stitches too. Look down here. Bunny hop to slow him down. The bunny jumping up and down. Hippity hop. Arcaner gets picked off as well.
Down they go. Full 5-man.
Look at Monka here. Perfectly lined seal. The immediate fall to the APOC. It's going to miss out just barely on the timing for the APOC, but Curson getting locked down allows for the bomb to go off and they get the kill.
Our cameraman was so impressed that he actually dropped his phone when it happened. And I mean, I can't blame him because that was pretty impressive here.
That it was, man. And now Trick Esports has time here to work on the Immortal. Method is going to be able to work on theirs as well. And remember, they do have Hanzo here, so the race is going to be pretty close. Crosby going straight into auto attack mode here, doing his best here to clear it up. It's going to be close, but it's enough. As Trick Esports will win the second Immortal of the game.
Still ridiculous how much damage Hanzo does.
It is. And that's the nerfed Hanzo, too.
Yeah, it's the nerfed Hanzo. And, I mean, so... Oh, but also, that's a Hanzo that gets smacked into the wall. But unfortunately, in that case, the silence wasn't really in place. Oh my god! The 4-man ley line, but the rest of the cooldowns isn't ready. And that is just Marcus sitting there. It's like, boys, really? I get a 4-man ley line and you got nothing. You got nothing for me?
Yeah, there was no bomb available, and Ethereal was also flanking around the left.
Sundering.
That.
The Riptire. Oh, and the silence comes out from the Twilight Dream, and Alex is down. No hibbity hop out of this one.
But top lane. Fork gets taken out there by the Immortal. The rest of the method will run over here and start to clear it out. I wonder what was that timing on that APOC, man.
I'm just thinking about like you get a 4-man ley line in the most closed off area that you could possibly get. I mean, it's the dream right there.
That's the worst feeling you hear in voice comms.
And then Mark is like, go boys, go! And everybody's like, well, I don't have the salvo, like I don't have the APOC ready. And like, I don't have a bomb. And Mark is just sitting there, and I'm like, oh.
Well, this is awkward.
But it was so good.
Wait, is Nick in trouble here? Remember, gets sucked down.
There should be. Oh,
portal,
that could be. Yeah, there should be a portal. Okay, so they're getting out of this one. I mean, this is just one of the main reasons why outside of the wombo combo, Diablo and Medivh are just so good. Yeah. Because whenever Diablo goes deep, one of his weaknesses can be if he's isolated, he has a rough time getting back unless he has a charge target for the shadow charge where he can move out. But outside of that, his mobility is very limited. So once you have that portal in, you can be so much more aggressive. Now, Marco, of course, has to make sure he has it ready. But so far, he has absolutely delivered on that point. And despite the kills that we just saw, Tricked is still in, or the kill against D.Va, Tricked is still in a spot where they have a level lead roughly. The level 13 talents are there. We have it now for Method as well. But Tricked is heavily pressuring through the bot lane at this point.
Grabman's 5-man going for the fort. They knew that the top left fort was going to be killed off anyway, so they let that go, and they'll trade out their own fort instead to make up for the experience. Method at least hits level 13 here, and they have a Thrall coming down, so they're willing to contest a fight. Arcaner goes for a hook, doesn't quite land one here. And Medivh still sharking around, has that ley line seal, waiting to see if Method maybe groups up a little bit, but now it's Immortal time, as we're going to have Tricked Esport back up and look at grabbing their Merc camps, but also clearing the top lane.
Yeah, and so the next Immortal is, I mean, as usual, of course, when you're looking at the Immortals, this is just where you try to get the wombo combo set off. So you're trying to save your cooldowns for the time when you are pushing through with that. And currently everything is set on the side of Trick to repeat what they already did before. But we also have a slight adjustment here. No Circle of Protection on level 13. Instead, it's the Enduring Will, or no reabsorption. So it's all about trying to get a bit of cooldown reduction for your Force of Will. So Medivh currently trying to set that up. Whereas we have both of the teams focusing on the Immortal, and I mean, who do you think is going to take the race? So far, it's Hanzo, who's able to burn it down to 50%.
By 10,000.
Yeah, which again indicates to Trick, boys, we need to win the team fight, because we can't win the race.
Yep, Medivh trying to clear up the top lane, but has to, or not Medivh, D.Va. Medivh still sharking around here, trying to find a spot where maybe Method might overstep. Arcaner and crew, though, are split up pretty well, which makes it easier for them to handle that ley line combo if it comes their way. You ideally want to land it on 2 to 3 people in this fight. Alex Afroji in the front line, dealing with Arcaner.
And there's the vision. So, Hanzo is a poor fella. Like, he has a lot of weaknesses, and one of them is vision. He has actually cooldown on that vision tool, so that makes it harder for him to use it.
Life too hard, man.
Yeah. Compared to Medivh.
They have to do something. Because Junkrat's just poking this like crazy. Okay, Rimmer goes in, he finds Ethereal. Ethereal's able to kite backwards, though.
I mean, they know where they are. There's still Medivh around. So if Medivh gets that ley line, they can set it up. The problem is if they get poked down like this, it's a problem. Now we have Warp being used as Crosby got hooked by Arcana, but you are right. They need to do something and need to do it fast. Here comes again the move. They're trying to go for Malv, and here comes the... That was actually really well done. They're actually going straight for the... Oh, the arrow D.Va! The Twilight Dream. D.Va gets saved for now, but she is down as Thrall comes through. The counter kill against Stitches is worth it, though. But here comes the ley line. So the combo interrupted by Malv and Twilight Dream earlier. That was a cool move by Kirsten, and that really worked out well. And now, of course, they can still put Nick and Hanzo onto the Immortal and claim this one.
I didn't know Schwimpy was Hawkeye. Landing the bullseye shot on D.Va on the smallest target, is barely landing it. And then Thrall following up with the Sun Ring, just getting those kills. Tricked Esport will now have to defend the Immortal that pushes the bottom lane. Good news for them, at least they still have a fort here. So there is a bit of a speed bump here towards the core. Method will have to push through, and Tricked Esports still have the experience advantage, but still a difficult situation to be in.
Yeah, what you want to do right now if you're Tricked is you want to get level 16 for the defense. And I'm a bit surprised that nobody is going to the top lane to get that wave real quickly. They had a bit of a time window where they could have tried to make that move, but they didn't. So now they don't have 16 talents yet, and they will lose out on the fort for sure. The question just is how much further can Method push this?
Leyline Sail should be up pretty soon here. The cooldown on it is a total of 80 seconds. So once they have that available, they still saved APOC. They didn't use it in that last team fight.
Alex is just sitting there, hook me, hook me. But yeah, that's not happening. That cooldown isn't being used. And now that the wall is down, that is of course an immediate threat. So that can be used here again. 16 is now there for both teams. Even fight for now.
Mortal still has shields. Finally gonna get that cleared up. Here comes the hook though into a root. Force of will keep Phoenix alive. He gets stunned right out of it, but he's still able to go ahead and sneak away.
Yeah, he survives, and that's the main thing that you want. Leyline comes out, hits one, and that's not enough for the setup. It was only Arcane that got hit by it on his stitches, and they're not gonna go in for that one. At this point, we have again a keep down, so Method is really starting to push this in. The hook hits Alex, here comes the root, they're trying to save him, and here comes the Apocalypse. But we have, nice move on the side of Kirsten once again. The Iceberg just in time to make sure that he doesn't get flipped over. Bunny Hop comes through with the slows, and Crosby working the attacks. Finally, also Medivh completing his quest. Alex again in a bit of trouble as he's trying to move out with the second mech, but there comes the hook. The root is on the ground, and without the help of Medivh, he is going to fall here, and that's just not enough. The portal got used already, non-available, and that is D.Va dying.
D.Va picked off, and with the core already having 22% shaved off, Method steps forward and goes for another hook. They find Make. Try to follow it up with a Junkrat combo, but Rimmer goes in and he disrupts everything. Nice. Big silence comes out. Arcaner's pretty low, and Crosby's wanting the chase.
That was a really good silence that we saw, and also the aggression from Diablo at the start definitely working out for them. He still hasn't fallen, so we see him on 100 souls, and that makes it really tricky to drop him here. And they are really just playing on their minds to try and hold on to that game, and for now it at least works. And they have lost percentages on the core, but they haven't really lost too much in experience yet. They're still so close to it, so there's still a chance for Trick to make this work and turn it around. But of course that bot lane is making it, it's going to make it difficult from a macro perspective, because those catapults are going to hurt in the long run here.
Well, they're already setting up to make sure that that bottom lane is pushing out and to buy them some time, so they have some chances here to try and force a fight. As they clear out the catapults, get the Merc camp pushing as well, have time to maybe clear out 1 to 2 more camps, especially because Method won't be looking for a fight as they have their own top lane pushing in. So Trick is doing just fine, but again, the next Immortal is going to be the issue that they have to win, and they're going to be under that Hanzo pressure, which continues to be an issue.
We have also an adjustment on Thrall, just simply respecting Remabola on Diablo here. Alpha Wolf has now been taken. So with Wind Fury, you're usually trying to get the Alpha Wolf through, then activate Wind Fury and get the 3 auto attacks in. And it just means that you are doing 9%, if you get all 3 through, 9% of the opponent's target's max HP. So against Diablo, that is a huge chunk of hit points that you burst down. The downside, of course, is that you're missing out on Thunderstorm, which provides, first of all, slows, and on the other hand, also increased damage if you get those stacks together. But against Diablo, it can be totally worth it if you're trying to blow the main tank up and you're going against a very hit point heavy monster. Stitches would be another good example of that. But yeah, it's definitely a few adjustments with the Thrall build here, just catering to the situation.
Well, it's Immortal time here, and Trick's going to fight on the second halftime show. They jump on their Immortal, put a little bit of damage in as they need to clear that top lane due to that camp pushing in. They put some damage on it, and it looks like they won't be able to fully grab it, as Method is going to go ahead and grab the halftime show. Ahead here, 7K in health bars. And now it's time. Trick Esport, do or die.
Yep, pretty much. With the top lane already pushed out, keep not down yet, but this is where you need to get a good combo off. At least a good play around Diablo, Medivh, and Stukov. You don't necessarily have to get the full leyline setup, but of course it would be helpful for them. Wolf is not connecting here. So again, nice jump here, going straight for Arcana. Damage is out, the ley line is there. And here comes the tick, boom, they're going for the double kill, what a blow!
They did it!
Junkrat is down and so is Hanzo. The perfect setup here, and Alex is just hopping around as Ethereal is getting chased by Crosby. That's another kill. What a setup here by Trick. That was beautiful.
Now what do you do here? Do you go straight for the Immortal? You go straight for a keep? It looks like you're going straight for Immortal. Let's look
at this.
Look at this beautiful thing. First off, Rimmer gets thrown over the wall, but he still follows up the APOC. Here's the bomb placed right in the middle. Now, Furion even uses Icebox freaking out there, but he just couldn't get out on time. 2 members get picked off. D.Va playing to win.
What a sexy play. That was amazing. So they get the kills in, and that is, of course, their ticket back into the game, and maybe even to drop a keep of their own. 50% Immortal, that's what they're going to look like. We have D.Va currently defending. They need to be careful. Again, their core has already suffered some damage, but now this is the setup. Both of the forts are gone. This is where Trick can start to make a bit of headway. They're already ahead in experience. Super important here for them. Can they get 20? Can they drop the keep? That's the big question here now.
Yep, Diva working on that bomb, building it up. She's about 60% of the way there, so she'll have another one available. And here's one of the best parts, too. When you're pushing with a Diva, you don't need that wombo combo. If you have an objective heading in towards a keep, you can throw out your Diva bomb right behind them. Your teammates is 5 push in and just force the keep down. And there's nothing your opponent can do except either A, force a fight behind it, or just let it happen.
This is going to be rough here. This is going to be, can Method hold this? That's the big question right now. And once again, by the way, Crosby is delivering on that Phoenix. Hasn't died yet, contributed 4 kills to the kill count, and has done a significant amount of damage. Second highest, there comes it again. Are they going to pull it off? And they get the damage in. And here comes the salvo. And the salvo takes down Hanzo and Junkrat. Tricked Esport with a level 20. They drop the keep and they're trying to go for their core here. They are absolutely obliterating these combos. This is amazing.
Speaking of obliterated, look at Curson here. He's getting focused down. He gets comboed again by Rimmer, and that's going to be 3 taken out. Thrall and Sitch is doing their best here to buy time. Even with the future buyout, it's just not enough. The core is the main focus here for Trick Esports. They make the dream work. They get the kills, they find the combos, and that's going to be a win for them as they go up 2-1 in the series.
Leyline into APOC into a Hibbity Hop Diva explosion, and it works beautifully well. And if that's not enough yet, the salvo right as the finisher. Yeah. The bomb didn't kill you? There's no problem, because I have a present for you. Here's more damage. And they get 3 kills out of the first one and 2 kills out of the second one, and that's enough to win the game. Trick Esports. Back with vengeance.
My weekend's been made. Can we watch it again? Let's watch it again here. They pulled off this combo twice in this series, so this is the second one here. Rimmer gets engaged upon, but Make comes in with the lane line seal, the immediate follow-up into the bomb. It even gets knocked back a little bit, but it's just not enough. Nick taking damage, Rimmer on the side, slamming people against the keep. Beautiful play there, and as you mentioned, the salvo from the clip.
Yeah. The Sundering at first really makes it work and it just like pushes it out a bit, so it was not the perfect Diva bomb. But the problem is that the targets that got still hit were eliminated anyways, and it was just so well executed. And even the target that was not in the bomb explosion, then it got bodied by Diablo himself. But here's another setup. Once again, Alex is in there immediately. And this time, we have the Ice Block preventing it to an extent, but not enough. The double kill still happens. Hanzo and Junkrat don't have the hit point pool to sustain themselves through it. And here comes another attack by Rema Ball as they go straight for Athero. Of course, the Bunny Hop comes out, slows everybody down, makes Alex unstoppable, and that is... those are the kills. This is just a game.
And the best part about that placement on that bomb is it was actually right behind the 3 targets that were being focused, so they couldn't run to their keep for safety, right? They have to run into the fight. And at that point, in loving hands, you got Diva just pelting away with her extra damage in there. Beautiful play there from Alex Aproji and the rest of the crew. You love to see it, man. I feel like my weekend has been made. Thank you so much, Trick Esports. I don't care who wins this series. That's my game of the weekend. That's for sure.
And you can imagine how they are actually...
yeah, going into game